how did the pandemic impact law schools? How did the pandemic impact law school admissions office, and what does that mean? How is that important for you to know? So there's going to be enrollment fluctuations this fall. So we won't necessarily know what those fluctuations are until October 5th. And I say October 5th because October 5th is when law schools have to report data to the ABA and the LSAT. And that data includes enrollment numbers. So on October 5th, that is when, unless because of the pandemic, that's going to get moved around in some way, but as far as I know, it's October 5th. That's when we're going to know how the pandemic affected fall 2021, fall 2020 enrollment numbers. What does that mean for applicants for fall 2021? What's going to be important is what were the deferral rates for 2020 to 2021. So deferral rates are those applicants who were admitted and deposited for fall of 2020 who, given the uncertainty of what's happening and schools going back remote and them not wanting to spend their first year of law school remote, or them not wanting to move to another part of the country because of the pandemic and the uncertainty related to that, have asked for a deferral. And so admissions offices often handle deferrals on a case-by-case basis. Generally, they don't want to give out very many deferrals because that affects, again, their numbers of the current year. But given a pandemic, that might have been something that has changed and increased for schools this year. So that said, I would guess that on October 5th, we're going to find that some schools had lower enrollments this fall than they've had in the past. Lower enrollments lead to lower revenues, and many schools were hard hit last spring because when they were asking students to go home in March, they were then refunding for those institutions, both law schools and undergraduates, and for those law schools that are on undergraduate campuses, they don't exist in a vacuum, so there's shared revenue sources there. So housing is a big revenue for institutions. When they were sending students home in March, they were also refunding housing. And so that led to many losses. Also, many institutions host conventions, host events on their campuses that no longer happen, so that intended revenue wasn't there. So again, schools were hit by revenue in the spring. They're likely going to be hit again with lower tuition dollars this coming fall. And so what does that mean for fall 2021? It means a couple of things. It means there are going to be deferrals from fall 2020 to fall 2021. So some institutions are already going to have a percentage of their class complete. It's not necessarily going to be a high percentage, so please, I don't want you freaking out, okay? Don't freak out. I'm smiling. It's going to be okay. Because it also means that next fall, they might increase enrollments to make up for some of the revenue lost in this last year, this last academic year. So how is this going to impact you? What I'm going to ask you to do is just be a knowledgeable consumer. So what does that mean? That means on October 5th, every school is submitting numbers. They also have to report those numbers to the public. So on every school's website, they have ABA disclosures, and it has to be somewhere that's known on their website that's easily accessible. Have those tabs saved on your computers. So go to the schools that are your target schools and save their ABA required disclosures so that you have an understanding of what their enrollments look like. You can also, if you've got time and the wherewithal, you can also look at their fall 2019 enrollments versus their fall 2020 enrollments, and then likely make those projections out. So again, they have to have, at least I think it's 3 years of data on the website, on that page. So you'll have all of this at your fingertips. So be a knowledgeable consumer. Look at those enrollment numbers, look at the rate of change. And then again, call admissions offices, ask those questions, ask, how many spots are they looking to fill for fall 2021. They may not be specific in their, what they're telling you, but they'll give you the best information that they can give you. And so that's important. So you can ask, so you can do your own research. You can ask admissions offices about how many deferments were granted, and they may or may not tell you, but you can ask the question. And then ask about enrollment goals for fall 2021. Are they going to return to the previous class size? Are they going to go higher? And so that, again, you can be as informed as you can be.
Thanks for tuning into the show. Please subscribe if you haven't done so already to be notified of new episodes as I release them. And feel free to reach out if you need anything at all as you move forward with your prep. I'm happy to help however I can. In the meantime, I'll wish you all the best and take care.